Hey guys, what's up? My name is Vaishnavi and welcome back to another video. Today I am joined by two of my very good friends from college, Dr. Shuchi Abhishek, who matched into MedStar Washington Hospital Center, and Dr. Vindhya Sridhar, who matched into Kern Medical Center in California. So firstly, thank you so much for being on my channel and agreeing to do the video. It really means a lot, and I'm very positive that this video will prove to be very informational for all the people wanting to pursue an internal medicine residency in the US.
Hi guys, I am Dr. Shuchi. I'm from KMC Manipal and I'm here with Vaishnavi because all of us actually have matched this year. Vindhya and I have matched into internal medicine. I'm going to MedStar Washington Hospital Center. Just a few things about me. I am a non-US IMG and I was ECFMG certified at the time of application. I'm really excited to be here and share my journey with you.
Hi guys, I'm Dr. Vindhya, and first off, Vaish, thank you so much, for having this session with us. I'm sure, people watching this will have a lot to learn. I'm a US IMG, and I recently matched into Kern Medical Center in Bakersfield, California. I haven't taken my step 3 yet, and I actually was not ECFMG certified at the time of application. So this is just like a brief overview about myself.
Right. Thank you so much for that introduction. I think it helps give the people two different perspectives on the entire match process, where one of you is a US citizen and one of you is a non US IMG. Also, one of you was ECFMG certified by the time of submitting the application, and Vindhya, you were ECFMG certified later on in the math cycle. So let's get right into the questions. According to you guys, what do you think is the ideal timeline of a person wanting to go on this journey? When do you think they should start researching about this entire process or start writing their steps? And also, do you think it's ever too late to, shift their focus onto this journey?
Sure. So my journey has personally been something that started really early in medical college. I knew that I wanted to go to the US for residency early on, and so I began preparing very early. But I also know people who began much later than me and did, in fact, match in the same year or maybe will match in the coming years. And I think it's never too late. There are very clear requirements for the match process, and I think there are no hard and fast rules. Everyone has their own unique journey and things that they can do to add to their CV to make it unique. Definitely doing a home country PG is seen as a plus point in the US. It shows that you're much more advanced in your career, and it is definitely more difficult because it's a longer time since graduation, but it's definitely possible.
Um, so I completely agree with Shuchi. Adding to that, so I also actually started my USMLE journey pretty early on in medical school. So I gave my step 1 in third year, which was, we were in the middle of the COVID pandemic. That being said, like Shuchi mentioned, I think everyone has their own timelines. But what I would recommend is like whenever you're ready, honestly, and I know the competition's high. People around you start their USMLE journeys early on, later on, whenever. But only if you're mentally ready for the journey, that's when honestly you need to find the right time to start. And another thing would be informed about what all it contains with the application process, what exams to take, the visa requirements, because I think you need to be very informed before you like get into starting your USMLE journey. Yeah, that's all I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any one formula that fits all. You can always start on this journey, even if it's after your internship or after you've completed your PG. Of course, having said that, it is better to be well informed earlier and make this decision earlier in medical school to take your steps and then prepare for electives. That will obviously ease the process. Okay, so can you guys tell me about what electives you did and how important do you think are electives in this entire match process?
Yeah, definitely. I think electives were very important for two reasons. One was that it showed that you had US clinical experience, and the second was to get good LORs for your application. I think both are equally very important. So I did three electives in the US, all three in IM. So my first elective was in inpatient internal medicine. My second one was in infectious disease, and my third was in preventive cardiology. And I think the best part about all my electives was that it really did give me a good idea of the US healthcare system. And definitely you can read about it online and, just inform yourself about the differences that exist. But I think if you don't see it for yourself, you will never know how different it is. I think I made good connections with my mentors. I'm still in touch with them and they're very supportive and they're continuing to guide me along my journey. During my interviews, a lot of my LORs were mentioned, highlighted. My interviewees did mention about the good things that were written in my LORs. So I think that doing electives is really important in the US.
Yeah, I agree with Shuchi. So I did not do hands-on electives. So one thing I just want to mention is that it's important to know the differences between an elective, an observership, externships as an applicant. So that being said, I actually did an observership in Banner Health University Medical Center, which is affiliated with the University of Arizona. And I did a research elective at the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. Like Shruti mentioned, I did make a lot of connections, networking, and trying to, reach out to attendings that would really help you out. And so I did that and, sort of ended up getting two letters of recommendations from Hopkins. And so essentially, I did have three letters at the, end of my US clinical experience. So I'd just like to say that, yeah, I'm sure, like, definitely hands-on electives where you have patient interactions are very, very important. But coming from someone who did not actually do hands-on electives as a medical student, make the most of your experience in your rotation. Make sure that you highlight the strengths, the qualities that can be highlighted in your letters. And at the end of it, you need to have good quality letters. You need to make that impression on your attending.
Absolutely, absolutely, that's so true. And having matched into internal medicine, what is your take on research and its importance and how it can probably elevate your application?
Sure, I think it's an important question. Research in any field these days is becoming more and more important, and so is it in internal medicine. At the time of application, I had two publications and a few articles that were in the process of being published. What I realized was most important was that you need to be able to explain and have a good reason for doing the research project. Because I was asked about many of them on my interviews, but I also know people who did not have a publication at the time of application, and I think that is okay as well. I think Vindhya, maybe if you have anything more to say about that, you can go ahead and add on.
Yeah. So I'm actually one of those applicants who had 2 to 3 research experiences in my application, but I did not have a publication. It actually got published a couple of months after after I matched. So that was something definitely that I was like tentative about. I was a little hesitant. But I think as an applicant, you need to know that there are different types of programs. So there are community programs, there are university affiliated programs, and university based programs. So each program will have a different requirement. My program is a university affiliated institution. But I would definitely agree with Shuchi, if you want to really make an impression in a university based program, which is very academically oriented, research would be quite important. Publications, the experience you've had, how you conduct one, and how you really are in that process with your guide.
Absolutely. One thing I'd like to add is I think as long as you um, are true to who you are and don't do research or case reports or publications just for the sake of it, I think that's what is going to work in your favor. Programs and program directors can see through the kind of publications you've put out there. And I get a lot of questions, in fact, from people who ask me, how many publications are necessary to match into so and so specialty. And like I said, there is no guaranteed formula. There are people who match with 0 publications, and there are people who do not match with 15 publications. So as long as you're showing some interest and you're being true to who you actually are, I think that's all that matters. Right. So can you throw some light on the importance of contacts and networking in this journey, and how that helped you match to your respective programs?
I think you have different kind of contacts throughout your journey. Some of them are seniors from your college, some of them are attendings in your own college, or maybe some who you came across and met during your US clinical electives. I think everybody has a different role to play. I think for me personally, the most important, I think things I gained through having a lot of contacts, especially with seniors from my college, was that I got a lot of guidance throughout the match process. Filling the application, preparing for interviews is not an easy job, especially when you're doing it for the first time. So I think these were some things that I really benefited from having some seniors who've already matched in the US. And definitely other mentors who are attendings did write me good LORs. When some people say that matching is all about contacts, I think that's not true when it comes to my journey. That's all.
So you do build connections, in your rotations, you meet good attendings who can be mentors for you. But it also depends on the extent that they know you for. Like, so, they should be able to vouch for you. Why do you, as an applicant, why are you capable of receiving an interview from that particular place? So having said that, one of the interviews that I got was actually from a program where my senior from med school is. So up to receiving interviews, your contacts may help, but like Shuchi mentioned, the actual matching, where you actually have to talk to the PDs and you have to interact in your interview, I think that's solely dependent on the quality that you put forward. So yeah, again, in my journey, the program where I matched in, it was not because of a contact. I mean, up till interviews, like I mentioned, yes, but it solely depends on, how you put yourself across.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's very true. So how did you go about your entire application cycle? And did you take the help of any agency for CV prep, application prep, or interview preparation?
So the ERA CV is very comprehensive. There is one section dedicated for your experiences. I'm sure there must be some changes this year, but this is how it was last year. And the other part of it is other documents like your transcript, your MSPE, and LORs. When it comes to making your CV on ERAS, I took help from my seniors in college. I filled it up by myself and I sent it to a few of them for editing, including my personal statement. By the end of the application, I think I was satisfied with how I was able to present my application on the CV. People did ask me many times, did you take any service or personal statement editing companies? I did not. I did not feel the need to. My interviews surprisingly began pretty early in the season. I did not get a time to breathe the moment I submitted my application. So, in that mode of panic, I realized that I needed some help to prepare for interviews. I took an online service which had 4 mock interviews. I think they were exceptional, really great. I got the practice to speak with someone I didn't know, so it was really helpful for me.
So with the application season, like Shuchi mentioned, there's the ERAS application, there's your personal statement, interview preparation. So there is a lot. But I think so. The one part of the application that was a little challenging for me was actually deciding what programs to apply to, how to apply to them based on the profile that I have. Basically, to have a strategy, right? Because I think even poor strategies can affect your chances of matching. I actually used Match a Resident. It helped me really, filter out what programs to apply to and which not to based on my profile. So I would really suggest that to someone who is struggling with, how to have a baseline to which programs to apply to. That's one thing. I again, like Shuchi, I did not take the help of any agency to edit or look through my application. But you can get your personal statements or applications reviewed by people who you trust, either your mentors, your family, your parents, your seniors. That would be great. And with respect to the interview prep, I did YouTube videos. I watched a lot of YouTube videos and looked up a lot of questions online. The most common questions that are usually asked. And honestly, the trick to an interview, a good interview, would just be yourself. I know that sounds very cliched, but be yourself, be true to yourself, be honest, and just don't try to. I think there's a fine line between trying too hard and not kind of putting forward your true self, and you just have to find that right balance.
Right. So, what was that time like post submitting the applications, post September end, where you were waiting for interviews, and did you do something extra?
So the only thing per se I did was like interview prep. I started interview prep because that's the only thing that you can control now, right? Like you can't control anything else. Honestly, there are there is stuff online about letters of intent, letters of interests. Now, you can obviously Google and find out more about it. That didn't benefit me that much. I think those would be like a hit or miss. So maybe, do it if you really want to. Honestly, other than that, just do the things that you like and try to divert yourself from the stress of how many invites you're getting and how they'll go. Because to be very honest, the interviews are very conversational, just like this one. Like I think I was probably talking with this like the same intonations even in my interviews. It's very friendly. People are very chill.
Yeah, so I did a few things after my after submitting my application. One of it definitely, like Vindhya, was interview prep. And as I mentioned earlier, I did take some mock interview service, which helped me a lot. In addition to that, I also prepared for my step 3 exam and gave it in December. I wanted to be eligible for an H-1B visa, and that's why I wanted to expedite the process and just get it done with the exam as soon as possible. In addition to that, I also attended my graduation ceremony in college. I think that period from Jan to maybe till the results came out were just absolute bliss. I really enjoyed.
Okay, so can you tell me something about your interview season and how that went?
Essentially what I'd like to say is, again, just be yourself. And I think, just sound approachable, friendly, and just someone comfortable. Like people should be comfortable enough to work with you, because you're going to have colleagues working with you for like 3 years and maybe fellowship post that. So what the programs are really looking for is someone that they can work with really well, and what they can provide, what the applicant really wants. So it's essentially that. And I know, again, be yourself. It's very cliched, but genuinely be yourself, be honest. Don't try to sound vague or like overly diplomatic. And I think for those people who have certain red flags in their application, might need to be addressed during the interviews. And again, just be honest about it and how you overcome those obstacles, because they really appreciate someone who's honest.
Absolutely. And one thing I would like to stress upon during interview season, especially, is the fact that it is always better not to compare yourself with other people and the number of interviews they're getting, especially for your mental sanity. There might be people getting one interview, there might be people getting 10 interviews, and many getting 20 interviews. That does not define you as an applicant. Of course, you should always talk to people around you and keep yourself informed, but it's better to not indulge in unhealthy competition during that period.
Yeah, I just want to add to Vaishnavi actually. Like, it's completely true. Like, I think the quality of your interviews matters way more than the quantity, because, we have people, and, I've read on Reddit, like, I don't know what extent they're true, but like people having 260s or having like 15 plus interviews still don't get matched. And I know it's crazy to hear that, but it is honestly like the first impression can be the best or the worst impression. So even one interview, two or three, you just like give it your best, and just remember at the end of the day you have your own journey. Yeah.
Right. So, having matched into such great programs and after going through this entire cycle, what, according to you, are some of the main attributes that programs and program directors look for in their applicants?
Question. I think this really depends from program to program, but I think in overall like a common characteristic that would make an impression on any program would be your qualities as a resident. Someone who's honest, someone who is willing to work with other people as a team, someone who can be assertive, not rude. So I feel like these are the common characteristics that really made an impression on my PD.
That's a really good answer, Vindhya. Just a few things I would like to add would be that I think the most important thing on your CV or application to be able to get an interview would be things like the quality of your CV when it comes to your clinical experiences, your the medical college from where you graduated, your scores, research experiences. I think these three are well known to be very important. Once you get the interview, I think the performance during your interview is what matters the most. But I think these would definitely boost your application, make your application more visible to program directors, and ultimately help you match.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, so the last question. Having gone through this entire long journey and now being on the other side of it, what are some things that you wish you could have done differently, or some things that you would change now thinking back on your journey?
So I'd like just to highlight like two things. One is academically, I think I would have really want to put an effort in finding hands-on electives where I would have had more patient interactions. And another is that I would really recommend to everyone watching this video is just enjoy the process. Yeah, it's tough, it's challenging, it's painful sometimes, but just give it your best and like really enjoy the journey more than anything.
My answer is going to be very similar to Vindhya's. I totally agree with both the points she's put forward. In addition to that, I think one thing that I could have changed or maybe improved on would have been the programs that I signaled. I think I was not informed well enough when it came to signaling 7 programs that are there for IM. I heard it is changing for this application cycle. So I would recommend for everyone applying this cycle to be extremely sure of the programs they're signaling. When it comes to that, the one thing that I realized was that it's not about whether or not you like the program. You also need to keep in mind whether people like you are present in their program and if you will fit in as well.
Also, I'd like to mention that Dr. Vindhya here is working with an NGO called Doctors for a Cause, and I think it's doing some great work. So it'll be great if you could talk about it a little bit.
Thanks, Vaishnavi. So yeah, actually, to go back to the question that Vaishnavi had asked us before, what I did post submitting applications, I actually, became part of this NGO. It's called DFC for short, and we primarily hold free health camps for the underprivileged across India. But we've also, come up with about 8 different task forces. And, since May is the month of mental health awareness, we have, we're up to some mental health webinars, some workshops. So to anyone watching this video, please reach out to us on Instagram, or, if you have any specific questions, you can email it to us on doctorsforacause@gmail.com.
Yeah, congratulations to the both of you once again, and all the best for everything that residency has to offer. I'm really sure that this video will be extremely helpful for all the people watching this. If there are any more questions or more such videos that you would like to see, please let me know in the comment section below, and I will try my best to get them to you. Until then, take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon.